31st week in Ordinary Time, Monday reflection. Expectation. Our life has enthusiasm with expectations only. Expectation is connected to hope. If there is nothing to hope, you don't expect anything. So you expect with hope. Hope, according to Romans chapter 8 verse 24, hope is something which you cannot see. So you expectation. But in the same time, expectation leads you to sorrow. Expectation leads you to sorrow. Because you expect something and that very expectation makes you sad because you don't get what you are expecting. Beautifully, the gospel speaks about it. At the time, Jesus said also to the man who had invited him, when you give a dinner, a banquet, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or rich neighbors, lest they also invite you in return and you be repaid. So each and every time you do something, there is a subtle expectation. But then that subtle expectation harms the relationship. Sometimes that expectation can be very elusive. It can be an elusive, where you expect too much, where you expect from a person where the person cannot cater to that very expectation. So that's the reason sometimes. So then if without an expectation you cannot do anything. Without that expectation you cannot do anything. If you expect only something, you do that very thing. But then from whom you expect and what you expect is the problem. If you expect from the person whom you are giving and what you expect in return, that expectation, you have to be mindful about it. That's exactly why, my dear friends, you have to be careful. So if you prepare a dinner to a wealthy person, he will give it back. So you don't get anything in return because you are repaid. But then there lies another expectation, hidden expectation, where the Lord is saying you expect something in return after this death, after this life, after death. So we live in that expectation. So that expectation is a promise. That expectation will definitely happen, will be fulfilled in your life. So for that expectation, you have to let go of your worldly expectation. You expect people to smile back, talk back, expect people to give you gifts, not material though. You expect people to in their own way, but that expectation blocks your expectation what is due in heaven. So the day you reach to a point where you are not going to expect anything from that person, but then you have to expect things from God. Definitely. Without which you lose the meaning of life. The first reading beautifully says, gift and the calling of God are irrevocable. For just as you were at one time disobedient to God, but now have received mercy because of their disobedience, so they too have now been disobedient, in order that by the mercy shown to you, they also may now receive mercy. For God has consigned all to disobedience, that he may have mercy on all. Or the depth of riches, the wisdom of knowledge of God, how unsearchable are his judgments and how inscrutable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, who has been his counselor, or who has given the gift to him that he might be repaid? For from him and through him and to him all things, to him glory and amen, the word says. So we cannot repay, you cannot repay for what he has done in your life. That of course you cannot. So you expect that love from him, that acceptance from him. So when you expect that acceptance, that love from that person, from God, that completes you. For that you have to let go of the worldly expectation. People cannot give what you want. No. People cannot fulfill your whims and fancies. No. So we are here not as recipients, but as givers. We are here to give. We are here always to give, not to receive. Not to serve, not to be served, but to serve. But then you cannot give what you don't have. You have to give what you have. So you expect things from him all the time. Expect things from the Father, and know that he will complete it. Only he can. So you don't rely on people. When people turn their backs at you, when the people tarnish your name, when the people go away from you, betray you, leave you, corner you, look down upon you, you are least bothered. Your expectations lie somewhere else. So you are always here to love, not to be loved. Here we are always here to give, not to be given. So that's the journey the Lord is expecting. And at the time Jesus said also, the man who had invited him, when you give a dinner or a banquet, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or rich neighbors, lest they also invite you in return, and you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the Lord, of the just. So it's always life of expectation, life after death. All what I go through, all what I struggle, we are prone to expect things from the people, but then always grateful to people who are ready to give you. But then remember, even a person's love or readiness for you is pushed by the Lord, because Lord has touched that person so that he or she would come to your life as a minister to love because of the Lord. So it's important that you focus on him. How people, the Lord will send people, send angels, send friends in your journey. So always be grateful, always be thankful to God and to the people who help you, but don't expect anything from them. Expect only from God. Only he can complete you. So the more you expect things from God, you are free, you are least shaken, you are least disturbed, because you expect things from him, not limited persons like people. Think about it and have a nice day. May God bless you.